Geek Tank Radio on 98.1 The Max.
Welcome, everyone. We are the Geek Patrol, and our microphones don't have a stun setting. I'm Joe Thorderson, here with my friends Brandon Olmsted and Alan Gilbreth and Alyssa Diggs and our buddy Max over there behind the glass. And you guys, we're going to have to exercise a level of discipline and, focus today if we're going to get to everything. Brandon put together the show notes today, and it is a full roster, my friend. But, Okay, so here we go. Let's set the table. Robotic Christmas trees. Alyssa's bound to love that. She already has 3 of them in her home. The Superman trailer dropped, which is going to probably require more than a segment, I'm thinking.
I'm hoping we can get it all done in a segment.
And it is the season of Creepmas, because it's part of the tradition. I didn't know this till I got to be friends with Alan Gilbreth, that one of the major holiday traditions from years past is the scary ghost stories and creepy Christmas things, right, Alan? I mean, this is your wheelhouse.
It is.
And we're here to celebrate that.
Yeah, basically all Christmas stories are truly horrifying.
Right, yeah. And I think we have more, but let's just not overburden ourselves. But Brandon, we do got to call you out.
Yeah, and I completely understand why.
Okay, so what happened?
Okay, so I'm at home, and after Thanksgiving, it becomes the tradition in my house is that anytime we're doing any kind of Christmas-related activity, whether it's making cookies, trimming the tree, wrapping presents, we have to have Christmas movies on in the background.
Okay.
Amy had not seen Red 1 yet, and so of course it was like, we're going to watch Red 1. And I had watched it, and
it's already on streaming.
It is on Amazon Prime, where
fast.
Well, it's where it was supposed to go to begin with. It was never supposed to go to the theaters.
Okay.
but.
So you didn't spend good money on this again?
No. Well, I mean, other than the wonderful free shipping that I get through Amazon, and helping keep Alyssa employed there.
Yeah. Okay.
So I sit down to watch it, and I'm like going, all right, Christmas activities, I can ignore it. And it is, my criticisms have not changed. I still believe that it is a badly made film, and there's 5 main actors who all think they're in a different type of movie. But
whoever directed it didn't keep everybody focused.
Well, no, I think I think it might have been his plan. I mean, the Santa montage at the end is the best part of the movie, but that doesn't really have much to do with the movie other than, hey, it's Santa Claus.
Okay.
So we sat down and watched it, and I realized something. If you're not paying to go to the theater to watch this movie, you're not sitting in a theater trying to watch this movie, your expectations are not as through the roof. And my expectations for Red 1 to begin with were higher than they should have been because I like all the actors involved.
Yeah.
It is too fun for you to miss. Even if you come out and go, Brandon's an idiot, it's a great movie, or, man, Brandon was right, it's a horrible movie. Why did he make me sit through it? Because it is a lot of fun, especially when you're watching it with someone that is going to enjoy the goofiness.
Is it a movie that you think is destined to become a cult classic?
Oh, no. I think it'll be one of those that goes in rotation with whatever Hallmark Christmas movie you love and Charlie Brown Christmas, and everything. It'll go into the rotation with those, but it won't ever have the cult status that any of those have.
Okay.
I think speaking of the Hallmark stuff, that makes me think that, we probably need to watch Hot Frosty and compare and contrast.
You want to hear?
Did you guys do your homework?
You want to hear something really weird about that?
I haven't watched it yet.
All right, so I have been watching these end of year lists, and there was one on. It was either on Watch Mojo or What Culture that was 10 recent movies that were expected to be flops that were better than they should have been. And number 2 on that list is Hot Frosty. I'm almost tempted to watch the movie now. Ryan George does it great with the pitch meeting.
The pitch meeting.
If you haven't watched the pitch meeting with Ryan George, first off, you should be subscribed to his channel anyway.
Yeah.
Yes.
That guy's awesome.
Now I'm going to, because people talk about how they lean into the trope. They don't even pretend that they're not in a Christmas movie. They say it's a lot of fun, and it's way better than it has any right to be. But I am going to say, go sit down, watch, you kick up your Amazon Prime Video or steal your neighbor's password. But, you go ahead and check out Red 1. Again, it's not a great movie, but it's a lot of fun.
Huh. I guess, okay. Because, it's funny, it's a holiday thing.
Right.
I guess it's all about what you're trying to get out of the experience. Like if you want an action movie,
And honestly, I think maybe because of the fact that I was knee deep in wrapping presents at the time that I watched it.
Yeah.
It was it added to the experience, and it made
it's
it
an extra
I guess
layer.
Yeah.
Yeah, some ambiance.
Maybe that's just it. Maybe the holiday movies should be watched while doing a holiday activity.
Would they do a director's cut of this movie that might fix it? Like
No, I think this is the director's cut. I just think it comes down to the fact that I don't think there's pieces you could put into it that would change it at all. The Rock takes it entirely too serious, but that's kind of his thing. Mm-hmm. Chris Evans thinks he's in a heist movie. Kind of is, but he never leaves the heist part.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There's supposed to be character growth with him and his kid, but their connection's already there, so that's not really growth.
Huh. I guess because the reason I asked is because one of my favorite holiday movies, and it's really a badly acted movie. It's not a good quality movie, but I think it's great, is Jingle All the Way, the one with Turbo Man.
Yes.
And the only really good acting in that one movie is Sinbad, I think. But
yeah, well,
But what the reason I asked is because, okay, then they released a director's cut of that movie, and it's awful. It's like it has to be cut the right way, so you can make a movie good or bad with the editing.
We felt that same way. Me and you, I think, both agreed when David Ayer's Suicide Squad came out.
Oh.
We saw it in theaters, and it was goofy, and it wasn't that great.
It was okay.
But then, you get the director's cut, and you go, all right, well, the director's cut fixed Batman vs. Superman. Let's see what this does. And no. It becomes a boring slog fest. And it's garbage.
It adds 20 minutes of them walking down the street.
And Harley Quinn proving she's a psychiatrist by trying to psychoanalyze everybody. It's not fun.
But editing is a huge part. I still wonder, because you said something, you said it has the ingredients to be a great movie, but maybe they just mixed it wrong, or I don't know.
Well,
maybe they could reconfigure it somehow.
I mean, Hemingway said to murder your darlings, but I think he might have murdered the wrong darlings with this movie.
What if they chopped it down and made it into an hour movie that was...
I think if they had made it a 5-episode, 30-minute, streaming series, limited series on Amazon Prime, that would have been a much better thing.
Okay, so there's no hope for this?
No. I don't think there's any way to fix the movie, but it's still going to be a lot of fun. It's kind of like when we watched Rubber.
Okay, all right. Well, there's our field report, and when we come back, we're going to talk about robotic Christmas trees.
You're listening to Geek Tank Radio on 98.1 The Max. Their superpower is watching TV and arguing about it. The Geek Patrol is back.
And welcome back to Geek Tank Radio, everybody. I'm Joe Thorderson, here with my friends Brandon Olmsted and Alan Gilbreth and Alyssa Diggs and our buddy Max over there behind the glass. And if you're just tuning in, Brandon watched Red One again. At least he didn't pay for it this time.
Right.
But watching it at home sporadically, I guess, while you're doing your Christmas activities is a whole different experience. We're not going to rehash it, but speaking of Christmas activities, what is this about robotic Christmas trees?
Okay. So there's this tree that's going viral on TikTok. The person who posted about it, I can't remember her name offhand, and I'm not going to research it because it's TikTok. But her parents have this tree. It comes in 2 pieces. You just basically roll it out. You snap piece 1 onto piece 2, and you push a button, and it robotically grows to between 7 and 9 feet, and then it spreads out. It basically puts itself up.
It telescopes.
Right.
So I could picture it. So it's almost like an umbrella, like it opens out and interesting.
And of course, it got me thinking. It's like, all right, because we are the Geek Patrol, and our minds immediately go to, how can this be used against us?
Right.
especially when it's
how can you hack your neighbor's robotic tree
Who's
and
gonna
have
hack
fun?
my tree?
Well, I mean, so of course I start looking at other robotic Christmas trees, and there's an AI tree where you can basically draw the lights on it. You get to make the lights
cool.
and the colors you want to come up in the spots you want to come up, and you do it all from your phone. And I could just see hacking into that and totally just messing with your neighbors. Again, later on when we talk about Creepmas, can you imagine the lines from the Ghosts of Christmas Past, Present, and Yet to Come all of a sudden showing up on your Christmas tree?
Oh goodness, that would scare me.
Now,
That would
Alyssa,
scare me.
you are the most hardened, battle weary person against technology like this.
Yes.
But do you object to this? This seems
I will
fairly
say,
harmless. Come
I
on.
don't hate this one as much because there's not really AI in it, except for the one that connects to your phone, which I don't love per se. But I think it's fun. I want to draw on my tree.
Yeah, but you can get just lights to do that too.
Yeah, but like I don't think it's a terrible concept to have a tree that puts itself up. I think it's helpful. Your living space change, whatever.
Okay.
This feels like the natural successor to that person that we had on Tool Talk Radio one time who had the tree that ascended from the basements.
Yeah,
Oh, interesting.
I'm more stuck. Yeah, like he had a platform that would lower, and he left the Christmas tree decorated, lowered it down,
See, but my
stored it
thing
all
is,
year.
I feel like it takes
That actually
a little
wasted-
bit of the magic out of it. For
Right.
Me.
What
Like,
happened to working together and decorating the tree with care and all the other? I mean, talk about a lazy society.
It is one
Push
of
the button and it rolls out.
Come on, that is one of the greatest, faux family traditions of all time. Is pretending like you like each other long enough to decorate the Christmas tree.
Come on. But then, okay, what are the possible ramifications of that? If you fully decorate it, somebody pocket dials the tree accidentally and collapses it. They wreck those antique
ornaments.
decorations you had. And
Well, the one that the stow and go tree, as it's referred to. No, that's actually what it's called. There's also the flip trees that basically you telescope them up and then you flip them over. And all the branches fall out into the right width. Those trees aren't, phone based. They have their own specific remote. But yeah, it's only a matter of time because I've got a post outside, an electric post outside, to run, any kind of electronic type stuff or plug-in stuff, electrical things, and that's all on my phone. It's like I could change it, but I've got the Wi-Fi turned off on it because I don't want to accidentally hit something and then like my lights go full blast and burst into
flashing.
flames.
Yeah.
Right. I don't want to give my neighbors seizures.
Yeah.
it's funny how this is. It goes from one extreme to the other. There's people that their tradition is to go out into some forest where you're allowed to cut down your own tree, you haul it back, that's got to be hours of
Oh my goodness!
drying it out, making sure you got rid of the bugs and and then
the critters.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just
See, my Christmas tradition, because I love real trees.
yeah.
We go to a tree lot. Mm-hmm. Actually, we will usually start at a big box store, either blue or orange, whichever one we're closest to. And then we'll go, yeah, this is nice. If only they would have had it standing up instead of laying against this this pallet fence.
All
Yeah.
right.
So then we end up at locally, it's Big Jim's Christmas tree light at the Oak Court Mall. Free advertisement for them because they've
Jim.
done great
been there
for me
for
the past
years,
3
man.
years.
Yeah.
I've found amazing trees there, and last year and this year are the first years we've ever had a full-size tree because we have dogs, and we used to have a half tree that we would put on the kennel.
Interesting.
And so, yeah, it's like we get it in there, we put on the lights, we decorate it. Me and Amy both have to be there while we're doing it because you can't do it by yourself. It's just not. It doesn't seem right.
I had an idea for a potential evolution of the stow and grow tree.
Okay.
I like the idea of it. Well, speakers are getting more thin and unobtrusive. What if you had the stow and grow, the central shaft, have speakers inside of them so that you can connect it to your Spotify and have loops of Christmas music?
I think that's an
That would
amazing
be kinda
idea,
cool.
Max.
Or
I
like
would
death
be
metal
into
in the
that.
middle. Like you can choose whatever track you want.
Yeah, it's like, dude, I would be totally into speakers in my tree.
Trans-Siberian Orchestra playing from your tree
Yes.
all hours.
And lights that are sound activated, so the lights went with the flow of whatever song was playing.
I don't know, though. The more convenient all this technology makes things, the less special it is. Like, okay, if it takes 5 minutes to put your tree up, who really cares?
I think that it's nice for people that have, for elderly people or just people who live alone who maybe don't have the strength to put up a tree on their own. I think it's nice for that. But if you're just doing it because it's easy, I don't know.
What are we teaching our kids?
Yeah, decorate the tree with your kids.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Speaking from Grinchland,
Yeah.
I love a tree that goes
That's
up
Mount
in 3
Crumpet,
minutes,
sir.
comes down in 3 minutes, because all of that lovely family time together, basically breaking stuff and screaming. Because I think the only Christmas movie that ever told the truth, let's just say there's a leg with a lamp.
Boy,
You know what I'm talking
Wow.
Mr. Sunshine over
fact,
there.
well,
so,
I'm
yeah.
going to say the fact that he kicks out the credibility of Christmas Vacation.
Okay, anyway.
Yeah.
All right. We'll have
Incredible
more Christmas talk when we come back here on Geek Tank Radio.
You're listening to Geek Tank Radio on 98.1 The Max. The Geek Patrol is back.
Wait, are you saying there's a final fight full of CGI where the hero fights a bad guy who has similar powers? Yeah, I guess so. Now that is a Marvel third act. I love it.
And welcome back to Geek Tank Radio, everybody. I'm Joe Thorderson here with my friends Brandon Olmsted and Alan Gilbreth and Alyssa Diggs and our buddy Max over there behind the glass. And if you're just tuning in, of course, it's that time of year. We're talking about... until Alan dumped a bucket of cold water on the conversation about holiday cheer. I don't know. Well, we're trying our best.
We are.
We're in the
I
midst
feel
of
cheerful.
in the midst of in the midst of all these changes. First of all, you watched a movie 2 weeks ago at
And
the theater
hated it.
and hated it, and now you watched it 2 weeks later on streaming, which that never happened growing up. I mean,
No,
you used to have to wait 6 months before. So, and then now we have robotic Christmas trees, where essentially you stand it up, you click two pieces together, you push a button, and it telescopes out almost like an upside down umbrella, saving you a lot of labor, saving you a lot of time that you could be spending with the family decorating the tree.
Well, actually, and here's the thing, though, about that telescoping tree.
Yeah.
It's got its lights on it, but there's no shiny bells, no tinsel, no garland, no nothing. So you still get to do it with
Decorate it, yeah.
your family. And if you've got a family that's too short to put the star or angel on top, Alyssa, I am looking at you.
that is nice.
Then you can put that on top and then hit the button so it like raises up.
Yeah.
Although, Brandon, I'm waiting for the day. This is a good segue into your next idea of I'm waiting for the day of LexCorp to hack into the mainframe and start weaponizing the trees and getting out of their little posts and start swinging their branches and attacking us.
Max, I am always down for any of your post-apocalyptic suggestions. I'm 100% on board with that.
Okay. Well, anyway, we'd love to know if anybody out there has one of these trees. So, but hey, let's shift gears. We're talking Creepmas, right? Okay. So
I think Max was trying to set us up to talk about the Superman trailer.
Oh, is that it? Okay, sorry for the segue. Cut this out, Max. You guys want to talk about the Superman trailer. So the Superman trailer dropped, which had a lot of surprises in there for me. I'm gonna reserve judgment. I am not the biggest James Gunn fan. I think he's sort of annoying and stuff. But I mean, I think he means well. I just don't dig a lot of the stuff he puts out there. So
man, he wrote the Scooby-Doo movie where they turned Scrappy-Doo into a megalomaniacal villain. Therefore, he will always hold a special place in my heart.
But I do think he's sincere and he's earnest, so I'll give him that. But so the new Superman trailer dropped, and
and David
chock full of stuff.
We got to see him like full on in the soup. We now know the trunks do exist. We got to see our first ever theatrical crypto.
Okay.
I'm loving the fact that James Gunn is like completely leaning into the Silver Age mythology of Superman.
Can I make one comment about
Sure.
that? Because Crypto, I had no objection to Crypto being in there. I'm like, okay, why not? Why not? But that's not what Crypto should. I thought Crypto should look a little bit more like beefy and like a big.
No,
isn't he like a smooth? I almost picture like a muscular Labrador. Or something.
Well, I mean, they've always shown him, and basically it's the fact that artists. I'm sorry, guys. Artists were lazy and they didn't really draw his fur.
It's hard.
Is that what it is?
Fur is
It's pretty
hard.
much.
Well, that's tedious. Actually, now that you say it,
Yeah.
drawing fur would be.
But I will say I didn't expect him to have a deformed little cocked ear, but I find out that that's actually how that dog's ear sits all the time.
That's cute.
But I'm reserving judgment on the film until I see it, but I am definitely going to be there July 10th if I can get that early showing, but July 11th definitely to see this movie. And I'm just excited about a trailer that, strangely enough, as much as people might be crapping on it not being the Snyderverse, and you guys suck anyway.
Well, his universe is kind of boring.
It's like
Never liked it.
I get it. He found great paragons to play these characters, but yeah, when you look down at it, it's real. Alan's right. It's boring.
And like that one guy said, if you need to recut your movie every time to make it good, that you should
you should stop making
yourself
movies.
as a filmmaker.
Yeah, and come on, Rebel Moon proves it. Snyder needs to stop.
I thought one of the nice things that DC did that I don't know if people appreciated was the fact that I liked that we didn't have all this as much interconnected stuff like we have in Marvel. I like that the Batman could be one thing, the Joker movie, whatever. I like a little more individuality.
What's great about those is that while we are going to have our connected DCU films, we do have what they're referring to as the Elseworlds, which Matt Reeves' Batman is never going to cross over with David Cornsweat's Superman because it's two significantly different worlds. There is going to be a Batman in this world. We're going to meet him in Brave and the Bold, but it's not going to be the hyper-realistic Batman that we got in Matt Reeves' The Batman. And I think that's perfect. One of the things that they've always said is like, well, our audiences aren't smart enough to tell the difference, so we can't have Batman show up on Smallville. I think audiences are smart enough now to know what they're seeing. And if they're not, they're going in there and just enjoying the popcorn of the movie anyway.
Yeah.
So
make it be good.
Let them do that.
Yeah. Brandon, we're looking at you. Well, I'm looking at you on this question because, most of the characters are recognizable to us. However, I think Mr. Terrific is less known maybe to mainstream audiences. And what's his deal? Okay,
so he's hyper.
He's the guy with the T on his face.
Right.
Yeah.
He is the third most intelligent person in the entire DC universe. He is his metahuman power is his brain, and he also has these wonderful things that refer to as T-spheres, which are basically living embodiments of the utility belt. They can do pretty much anything he needs them to do, and one of the things you get to see him do in the teaser trailer is use them to form a force field around him and Lois Lane while they're being fired upon by LexCorp mech suit soldiers.
Yeah.
And I'm really excited because out of everybody who shows up from the Justice League International, which we saw Guy Gardner, we saw Hawkgirl, we saw him, Mr. Terrific, he's going to be the most prominent of them, but he's still not going to be one of those characters that takes everything away.
Yeah.
We also got a chance to see Metamorpho in the trailer for just a minute. He's the guy whose skin looks all swirly. And of course, when Superman is just after he got hit in the head with the can of peas or whatever it is, and he's in that place, he's in Stag Industries, which is where Metamorpho comes from.
Well, the trailer was chock full of things, and we're going to continue to talk about it when we come back here on Geek Tank Radio.
Listening to Geek Tank Radio on 98.1 The Max. The Geek Patrol is back.
Use your aggressive feelings, boy. Let the hate flow through you.
And welcome back to Geek Tank Radio, everybody. I'm Joe Thorderson here with my friends Brandon Olmsted and Alan Gilbreth and Alyssa Diggs and our buddy Max over there behind the glass. And if you're just tuning in, it is the holiday season. We've been talking holiday things, and we're going to continue the talk later. But this week, of course, the Superman trailer dropped. Boy, I don't even know how many views it's up to. It went viral, obviously.
It is the most viewed trailer for not only DC, but Warner Brothers itself of all time.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, I know people are reacting to like his costume. Some people say the costume's underwhelming or something, and I don't know. I will say David Cornsweat, which is a great name.
Yeah, it's a great name.
He looks earnest, and which I like an earnest. I don't like a cynical, whatever. Cocky Superman. I like how he saved that little girl from the explosion and stuff. Like that's what he's known for.
Still a little bit.
I think. Yeah. And I think one of the things that I've seen a lot of criticism going, well, he's not big enough to be Superman. You guys, Superman was never meant to be this big muscle bound meathead. He is supposed to look like your average human. It's his Kryptonian DNA that gives him his powers, not his muscles.
Well, that's a good point, because if you can lift a train or withstand an atomic blast, what does it matter how big your biceps are?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's a good point. Yeah.
I actually heard something kind of interesting. Someone once said that if you want to try, the best way to try to play Superman as an actor is to play Clark Kent. It's kind of the reverse logic of if you're trying to play Bruce Wayne, you play Batman instead, because Batman is the alter ego, is the true form of Bruce Wayne,
Right.
but it's the reverse for Superman.
See, and that's
a good point,
and
because
honestly,
he grew up as Clark Kent.
right.
So
And
he is
honestly,
Clark Kent,
that was one of the coolest things about this trailer is you get to see the Clark Kent and in his mannerisms, everything. You would never look at that guy and go, "That's Superman."
Right.
But meanwhile,
He looked kind of Clark
and again,
Kenny.
I'm not putting this on Cavill. I'm putting this on Snyder. Cavill's Clark Kent and Cavill's Superman, there was no difference.
He had glasses on. Yeah, he didn't do the
You know,
quirky.
it's like there was no nerdity.
Yeah.
Or clumsiness
He
to
couldn't sell
Cavill's
that,
Clark Kent,
yeah.
and I don't blame him for that. I put that on the director.
Yeah.
I have seen Cavill do enough things that I know that if Cavill had been given,
He can be silly,
he can
goofy.
be silly and goofy, and he can be stoic.
Yeah.
And I think but we got to see without really any dialogue at all in the trailer outside of Crypto. Take me home.
Right.
And then the people chanting Superman's name, the little kid saying Superman, Superman, to get his attention. But one thing we do have to talk about is Guy Gardner's haircut. I have seen so many
Do people still know who Guy Gardner is? Like, does the mainstream people?
Yeah, because he showed up in Brave and the Bold, and he showed up in Justice League Unlimited, so he still has.
He's like a real cocky jerk.
He's
right?
a jerk. He is. It's like it's like you hear somebody go, "All right, we're sending Green Lantern to help you." You sit there and go, "Please not God, please not God, please not God." Not because he's inept, but because you have to put up with him while he does what he does.
Right. Yeah, he's sort of a know-it-all. But that hair is pretty awful. Like, I thought it's supposed to be sort of shaved on the side, almost like Mo Howard, but even more so.
Well, he's got the more original bowl cut than he did than the one that Kevin McGuire gave him later on in Justice League International, which he should have the international ones because they're totally rocking the uniforms from Max Lord.
Well, is this a Superman movie, or is this launching the next?
Well, this is
because there's a lot of characters.
This is a Superman movie, but it is in a world where the metahumans have been around for a few years. The superheroes are established. People know they exist, and I think that because I think this scene comes directly off of that scene where the public is just berating him, and that guy throws the can at him, and they're all and he walks into Stag Industries, and I think he's waiting for the Justice League to come get him.
Okay,
because I think that there might be a position there where they're taking him into custody because he's being blamed for something.
Property damage, probably. I mean, look at the damage they do to.
He does have to fight a kaiju at one point in this movie.
Yeah, which is cool. I had never seen that in a Superman movie before.
What do you think that is?
That's got to be some sort of just.
That's probably why Guy Gardner's on and Hawkgirl, right? Intergalactic stuff.
Yeah, some critter got loose.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll keep an eye out, and that was just a teaser trailer anyway.
Yeah,
we have July. We have till July to get the full deal. So, hey, can we shift gears, you guys?
Yes,
it's
we
that
can.
Creepy time of year. Maybe this will get Alan interested finally. But I never really knew until I met you guys that there's a lot of creepiness that is part of the Christmas tradition. I mean, I know that Charles Dickens that story's pretty scary, but
Well, that's just the most popular one of them. The entire tradition was to gather around and,
But why? That's not real cheerful.
All right, basically, there's really very little about the middle of winter that is happy.
Yeah, you get kind of in a funk, and it's depressing.
Well, you've been without. If you're in the Nordic areas, as I look at you, Viking descendant, you guys didn't even have daylight.
Yeah, you're in the. That's true. There's no sun for months.
So we're getting into a tradition basically called Twelfth Night, and the thing was you were trying to do anything to get your blood pumping, and let's face it, we all love terrible stories. We keep telling them. We keep watching them. There's no such thing as a happy superhero movie. If there was, it would be 3 minutes long, and it would be Superman walking the dog, and the dog would be happy. No, that's not how it works.
He'd pee on a fire hydrant, and the fire hydrant would get knocked over. The water would spew up.
Would spray up,
and he would do
kids would come play.
Yeah,
all of our stories are based on conflict, and I hate to say it, but all of a certain mouse movies, you really don't want to be the mom of the character.
No, so true.
Like Bambi's mom or something like that, or any of those. So
Anyone's.
okay. All right. So I guess we're going to talk about creepy stuff, and it seems like there's people are actually leaning into this season. So all right, we're going to talk about that when we come back here on Geek Tank Radio.
You're listening to Geek Tank Radio on 98.1 The Max. The Geek Patrol is back.
Anyhow, you'll have to wait. The kids are busy right now.
Oh, is the organ harvesting clown here?
Nah, Rusty comes on Tuesdays now.
And welcome back to Geek Tank Radio, everybody. I'm Joe Thorderson here with my friends Brandon Olmsted and Alan Gilbreth and Alyssa Diggs and our buddy Max over there behind the glass. And I guess today we're talking about all the aspects of Christmas. We've talked about horrible Christmas movies that we don't know. Somehow Brandon feels compelled to keep watching.
Hey.
Red One. And
we can blame the Cinemassacast for my need to watch bad movies.
How robotic Christmas trees are destroying all the Christmas traditions and spending time with your family. And, of course, now we're going to talk about the creepy factor of Christmas.
And Joe, before you went to break, you talked about people really leaning in on it. One thing I'm very proud about is the fact that there is one movie that's literally coming out on Christmas, which is the epitome of horror, and that's the remake of Nosferatu.
That is true.
That is exciting.
Seriously, looking forward to it.
Okay, wait, because that movie originally was from the 20s, and for my money, just the images from that are the scariest Dracula I've ever seen. And then they remade it with William Dafoe back in the 90s. But it wasn't
that one wasn't so much a remake as it was a horror movie based around the making of Nosferatu.
Yeah, that was the meta Nosferatu.
This trailer looks pretty scary. Why do you launch this on Christmas?
Because
that seems,
it is.
I mean, okay.
All right. Picture this.
That's what the people want.
Well,
I don't know.
Picture this. You live in a Victorian home or a castle or something like that. It's drafty. It's winter. We don't have electricity.
Yeah.
So everything is lit by candlelight and these type of things. And considering your particular religious affiliation, candlelight, as you well know, is very different from any other kind of light.
Well, what do you mean by that?
The average, when you see the Christmas displays and that kind of stuff, there are thousands of candles because candles put out a very warm, flickery, yet shadowy light.
Okay, so they are a little creepy.
They're atmospheric.
They light the way while basically hiding the terribleness around you.
I don't get why we're celebrating this, though. I thought the whole notion is to hey, let's take a break from all the horrible stuff.
But here's the thing. When you lean into things like the ghost stories or the pseudo-horror Christmas decorations, it makes the cheer that the family brings all the more enjoyable. It's a psychological thing.
Yeah, I guess I'm not tuned in like you guys. I mean, you're the one that goes on your vacations with your wife to a log cabin and watches horror movies in the middle of the woods.
While she sits on the porch and reads romance novels. It's amazing.
I'm trying to picture the scene. Everybody's they're opening presents. They're spending the day together. They're having Christmas celebrations. Then they go watch Nosferatu.
No. Well, okay.
Yeah, you're
cap off the day. I'm like,
nothing sucks the life out of you than being around that uncle who won't shut up. So you go watch a movie about a vampire.
Yeah, everyone's got to be quiet.
The thing is you told the ghost stories on Christmas Eve.
Yes.
And then you woke up to cheer.
Okay. I mean, is this how you celebrate? Is this?
Oh, dude,
Are you going to this? Are you going to see this
Am I
movie?
going to see Nosferatu?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Am I going to see Nosferatu on Christmas Day? Absolutely not. You know where I'm going to be Christmas Day at that time?
Yeah.
I'm going to go to my family's and have have Christmas dinner and everything. Then I'm going to work because time and a half is awesome.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
I was going to say, too, one thing I'm kind of excited about with Nosferatu is the fact that Bill Skarsgård is the one playing the monster. Because Skarsgård already has a reputation of playing Pennywise. He's already a creepy man, and he comes from a great pedigree. Because look at his dad, Stellan Skarsgård.
Yeah, I never knew that was his dad but recently.
Yeah,
but
Skarsgård.
You ever guessed by the Skarsgård?
well, I mean, I didn't think he looks nothing like him, does he? I mean, but
he will.
Is this enough to get Alan to the theater? That's the question. Because
Actually, I would say Christmas is probably the one time you'll see Alan in the
Yeah,
theater.
it's like, it seems like that's exactly where he would like to be, actually.
hey, I got news for you, folks. If you're going to the movies on Christmas, it's crowded, so you better
Yeah,
get
you've
tickets
had
in
enough.
advance.
You've had enough of that family time. I'm
Right.
agreeing with Alyssa.
Yeah,
Yeah.
everyone
But the big
has
thing
to be
is-
quiet for 2 hours.
Yeah, so for your creepy Christmas, I get to look at everybody and go, it's the act of storytelling, Joe, is probably one of the most intimate family activities you can do. And you are not going to hold a little kid's attention unless you take a lesson from The Princess Bride. You're going to have to tell a story that's interesting. And when you get to something like, and I'll even pick on a famous ballet, when you get to the Nutcracker, there's a rat king and there's adventure and there's reasons to listen to the story. And if you've ever read any real versions, not the modern sanitized version of fairy tales, they're pretty rough.
At what cost, though? Like, you're talking about keeping the kids entertained. Like, I happen to know. I listened to an interview with Robert Smith from The Cure, and he's a great musician, but, look at the stuff they sing about. Mm-hmm. He said his dad would tell him stories at night, and every story ended with this thing that's under your bed that's going to eat you in the middle of the night, or this thing that's going to, get you when you leave the house. So I think it affected him.
Look what that trauma inspired. Great music that you listen to this day.
Poor tortured soul, but he, so he suffered for his art.
And I was thinking, too, these sorts of stories kind of represent maybe perhaps a loss of innocence, but it also sort of represents teaching kids early the realistic nature of life, because life can be pretty brutal and violent, but that means that you should try to be a little bit more of a source of light and positivity amidst all these frost giants and vampires.
Okay. That's what you're getting out of this Nosferatu movie. You're going to walk out of there with sunshine and goodwill towards mankind.
I mean, Willem Dafoe's in it. I'd say that's a sunshine and roses thing.
Yeah.
Well, Alan, you still haven't answered whether you're going to go see this movie, because that's the test. If Alan will go to the movie, so
to be perfectly honest, I will be cooking for 150 people that day.
Okay, so would you see this movie if you weren't cooking for 150 people?
Would I see it? Oh, absolutely.
Right. Gosh, prying an answer out of him was like pulling teeth.
Maybe I'll go.
Alyssa, are you going to go? Because
I might. I was like, I took a lot of time off for the end of the month, so I might just go see it.
I mean, does it look? It doesn't really look like my kind of movie.
No, I think
hate
it
to
looks
say
cool. I like a good Victorian scary movie.
And that's Johnny Depp's daughter. I didn't know that till you told me that,
Oh,
Max.
she's so
She looks
pretty.
like she's
Love
got
her.
some chops.
Lily Rose
Yeah,
Depp.
she's pretty talented.
Yeah. She looks like him. Once you told me
And
that, I'm
she's-
like, I see the resemblance.
And she's younger than me.
Yeah.
She's only like 26.
All right, you guys. Well, Merry Christmas, everyone. But it's time to get out of here. The show's over, and like an anvil, we are ending it. So until next week, we are the Geek Patrol, and I am Joe Thorderson.
I'm Alan Gilbreth.
I'm Maximilian.
I'm Alyssa Diggs.
And I am Brandon Olmsted, wishing you the merriest of your own chosen holidays.